My boyfriend got a giant tattoo of his dead 6-year-old brother on his chest, and now being romantic with him makes me feel like I'm doing something I could get arrested for. I, 22F, don't really know how to begin, so I'm just gonna dive right in. We've been together for 4 years now, living together for 2, and every aspect of our relationship is honestly perfect, and I have a sneaking suspicion that he's planning to propose sometime in the near future. Last year, however, his younger brother, who was only 6 years old, passed away. This took a major toll on my boyfriend, obviously, but especially because he was extremely close with his little brother. His parents are major screw-ups, to put it bluntly, and as a result his little brother spent a lot of time living with us, to the point where we practically became like a mom and dad to him and even discussed filing for custody. The problem arises when a few months ago my boyfriend mentioned he wanted to get a tattoo to commemorate his little brother and asked what my thoughts were on this idea. He has no other tattoos and never expressed wanting one before, so I was a little surprised but completely supportive. He talked about getting his brother's name or date of birth or something equally sentimental. Cool, I thought. That all sounds beautiful. We didn't really talk about it again until he told me he had booked a time in with a tattoo artist. It was on a day I was working, so I couldn't go with him, and when I asked what he had decided on, he said he wanted it to be a surprise. I was really looking forward to seeing it, thinking it was going to be something small and cute. I did not expect him to come back with an almost life-size headshot of his little brother slapped across the majority of his freaking chest. It was definitely a shock, but I reacted positively and told him it looked really good. It was only the outlines and such at this point, and he said he was going to go back and get it filled in. It's been a few sessions now and he's had the whole shebang done to it. Colors fading, everything to the point where it could be mistaken for a photo now. I can't deny that it's a seriously incredible piece of artwork. My boyfriend is super proud of it, and I honestly think it's pretty cool as well. But my only issue with it is during lovemaking. It takes up such a large space on his chest, and it's the only tattoo he's got. It doesn't help that he's pretty pale and doesn't have much hair, so the tattoo really stands out and my attention is constantly drawn to it. Not to mention this thing is like the Mona freaking Lisa. Any position that we're facing each other in, I always end up making eye contact with it, and every time I do it makes me feel so uncomfortable and absolutely kills the mood for me. Every time. Ignoring the fact that this kid was practically like a son to us, I doubt I would be able to have love making while looking into the eyes of any 6-year-old. And it's honestly ruining our intimate life. I haven't told my boyfriend any of this because I feel like I can't say anything negative about the tattoo because of its meaning and the fact that it's permanent. I know lasers exist, but I doubt he'll ever get rid of it. Lately we've mainly been intimate in positions where I'm facing away from him, or while we keep our shirts on, and he started to notice this and has told me he's worried I'm not attracted to him anymore. I am attracted to him. I'm just not attracted to the 6-year-old on his chest. What can I do in this situation? The thought of telling him this, or anything negative about the tattoo, makes me feel like a monster. But looking at it during lovemaking is making me feel like a monster too. Should I talk to him? Am I overreacting? Is our intimate life officially dead? Thanks for any help you guys can give. Small update. The next day, this has gotten a lot more attention than I anticipated. Some people are saying it's reached the front page, which is making me consider deleting this post. I'm not sure it would be the worst thing if my boyfriend did see this, however. I'm currently debating whether I should just let fate take the wheel on this one. Otherwise, I've received some really phenomenal advice on how I should talk to him and what alternatives we have to make love making less awkward. I was honestly beginning to think this was a relationship ending issue before I made this post, but you guys have given me a lot of hope that this is something we can work through. So thank you so much. I'll make a new post to update how things go once I've talked to my boyfriend about all this. If he doesn't see this post first, I think I'll at least show him some of your comments depending on how he reacts. Update: things haven't gone well. I don't know what the hell has happened, but things have turned into an absolute cluster truck. I received some really great advice from people and honestly thought talking to him was going to work out well. I was still pretty nervous though and not sure how to bring it up. His mood has been pretty touch and go lately, so I was worried about picking the right moment and kept putting it off until later in the night when he tried initiating love making, and I thought that was a good time to start the conversation. I basically said, I know you've noticed something's been off lately, and that's because I haven't been entirely comfortable during love making since you got your new tattoo. I absolutely love it for what it is and what it stands for, but it's just difficult for me to stay in the moment because it's really hard not to look at it and be reminded of what happened. I stopped here to see what his reaction would be so far, and he was just silent for a while and then said, so, what? You want me to get rid of him? I explicitly said, no, I would never ask you to do that, and then told him it might just take me some time to get used to it until it's not so noticeable anymore, and in the meantime maybe he could keep his shirt on during love making, or we could try some other ideas. This is where crap started to hit the fan. He said all that sounded ridiculous to him and that I was being extremely insensitive and selfish and, honestly, sick for even associating his little brother with love making, and asked if I was freaking sick in the head. I messed up here. I shouldn't have said this, but I don't handle confrontation well, and I pretty much lost my cool at this point. I told him to go jack off to a picture of his brother and tell me how that makes him feel. He completely exploded at this point, saying that was a disgusting thing to say. I agree, and started calling me a number of names. He then started to get extremely personal, saying I never cared about his little brother and that I'm probably happy he's out of the picture. That is hands down the most hurtful thing he has ever said to me. I still can't believe it. I don't think I'm ever going to forgive him for that. Like, seriously, what the hell? Just thinking about it is making me shake. He knows exactly how I feel about his brother and how hard his death was for both of us, and for him to still say something like that? He can seriously go screw himself, because I'm definitely not gonna be doing it anymore. He then started shouting that if it was seriously that big of a deal for me that he would get the whole thing layered off, but he hopes I know I'm basically unaliving his brother all over again. I was crying so much at this point I didn't get a chance to respond before he stormed out of the house and just took off. I have no idea where he's gone or where he is, and I honestly don't even know if I care at this point. He's not answering his phone or responding to any messages. I still can't believe he reacted the way he did. He was like a completely different person. Not once in the 4 years I've known him, out of all the arguments we've had, has he ever spoken to me like that before. I was up all night on the phone with my sister and she was just as shocked as I was. Then this freaking morning I get a lovely freaking call from my boyfriend's sister, who called me disgusting and heartless and evil for forcing him to remove the tattoo. Apparently he's been going around to his family and all our friends telling them I've given him an ultimatum of me or his tattoo. What the hell? I explicitly told him I would never ask him to do that. When I told his sister this, she just called me a lying freaking bitch, wished all my siblings dead, and then hung up. Lovely. I seriously don't know why he's reacted the way he has, or why he's going around lying about me making him get rid of it. I'm still in total shock and just so confused. I hope typing all this out would help me figure things out a little, but reading this over has just made me angrier. I don't see what I could have done differently. I shouldn't have made the jack off comment. That's clearly what set him off, but that doesn't explain why he's lying now to everyone. I'm just at a complete loss right now. A day ago I thought of this guy as my future husband, and now I just don't know. I wish I never said anything. I've spent 4 years of my life with this guy, but this is a side of him I've never seen before. I'm so upset right now. My immediate thought is to just cut things off completely. How the heck would we even move forward from this? Am I the one in the wrong here for the comment I made? I know I shouldn't have said it, but I personally think he completely overreacted to it. And how am I supposed to convince our friends he's the one lying here? Anything I say is just going to sound like I'm lying in response to their negative reactions. I seriously have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. I feel like this is going to ruin my life. I just don't know. Final update, for anyone wanting closure. I wasn't going to bother with this update, but after all the support and love I received from people in this sub, I feel like the least I can do in return is give some closure for anyone wanting it. Before I begin, I just want to thank everyone who gave advice. I didn't respond to everyone, but I read almost every response. I stopped reading my private messages because a lot of the messages I was getting were graphic and negative, but I appreciate the few of you who were positive and helpful in your messages, and I'm sorry if I didn't respond to you. Now on to the update. It's been a crazy week and a lot has happened since our argument. My boyfriend spent 2 nights at his sister's, and during this time I decided to just send him a link to my Reddit posts instead of writing him a letter. I felt like everything I needed to say was in those 2 threads, and it would be good for him to read people's opinions. His sister read through them too, and that started a massive argument between them that revealed some shocking information that led to my boyfriend coming back home and completely breaking down. We spent the whole night talking, where he revealed he's been using a lot of substances recently and drinking a lot more to deal with his grief. He told me he feels responsible for his brother's death because while I was pushing for us to file for custody, he was on the fence about the idea, and now he feels his brother would still be alive if we had filed for custody over him when I first suggested it. He said because of this he's been developing a lot of feelings of resentment towards me. I don't really understand why, and neither does he, which he recognizes as being unjustified, so he's been bottling them up along with everything else, which essentially led to him flipping out when I brought up his tattoo. Obviously I knew he was having a hard time dealing with his brother's death, but I must have been viewing the world through rose-colored glasses because I never would have realized how bad it was if he hadn't told me. I was really hoping it wouldn't be the case, but unfortunately a few of you Redditors were right on the mark. He regrets the tattoo, and discovering I wasn't happy with it either sent him over the edge into panic mode, and he tried to use it as an excuse because the very idea of regretting the tattoo or wanting to get rid of it makes him feel even guiltier. Truth is, he hates the tattoo and he tries not to look at it at all. He apologized about 100 times for reacting the way he did and for not considering he was making me look at the tattoo in general, as well as during lovemaking. He completely understood where I was coming from when I brought it up. He just reacted the way he did because he essentially had a mental breakdown in his opinion. I apologize for my jack-off comment. Initially he was quite shocked and did take the comment as an insult, but after reading the Reddit post he understood what I meant and was very forgiving. He apologized for accusing me of never caring for his brother. We then talked about the argument he had with his sister. Up until now I was under the impression that my boyfriend went on his own to get the tattoo done, but it turns out his sister went with him to his first session, and it was her who convinced him to get a portrait on his chest, whereas my boyfriend originally wanted to get a drawing of his brother's favorite stuffed animal. Not only this, but during their argument it came out that his sister wanted him to get such a drastic tattoo because she was hoping it would cause a rift between us. Apparently she felt like I was tearing their family apart by trying to file for custody, and she doesn't want me dating her brother anymore. If that sounds totally ridiculous to you, it's because it is. Not defending her actions, what she's done is absolutely deplorable, but a history of mental illness, bipolar, and schizophrenia does run in their family. We're certain his sister suffers from bipolar disorder as well, or possibly something else. but she refuses to be diagnosed. My boyfriend didn't go around to all our friends, that was his sister lying. She was the only one he told, and he's promised to set the story straight for any family members she mentions it to. We've both apologized for what we said, and we're going to stay together and work through things together. In the short term, we're going to be getting in contact with a grief counselor and try out some of the suggestions for how to make things less awkward in the bedroom. In the long term, we're going to consult a tattoo artist to see what can be done in terms of lasering it off or turning it into something else. My boyfriend doesn't feel comfortable lasering it off, and currently his favorite idea is to get a heap more tattoos to try and make it less noticeable. I'm a fan of this idea as well. As for his sister, my boyfriend is currently debating whether to cut her out of his life or not. I don't think he should. I feel like he's lost enough family, but I'll respect whatever decision he comes to. I think that just about wraps everything up. A huge thank you again to everyone for all your advice and help. It really helped me get through this horrible and awkward situation. I mean this in the nicest way possible when I say I hope I never have to post on this subreddit again.